Tracy, you ready back there?
Thank you.
All righty. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is June 19th, 2018. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. If I could ask all of you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, do we have any amendments to the agenda?
I have no amendments.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
and seconded. All in favor, Scott?
Aye.
And chair says aye. Agenda is approved. All right, so once again, the Board of Selectmen gets to have their fun time at the beginning of the meeting. Okay, so we have a bunch of recognitions. So I'm going to start with Mr. Jim Fay. Could you please come down?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. So the Board of Selectmen are proud to announce that this year's 4th of July Grand Marshal is Mr. Jim Fay. Jim is a 20-year veteran of the United States Army, serving throughout Europe and our own Fort Devens. He received many commendations to include, but not limited to, the Army Achievement Medal with the 3rd Oak Cluster, the Army Commendation Medal with the 2nd Oak Cluster, and the Meritorious Service Medal. Upon retiring, Jim and his family, the beloved Anne Marie, and 3 sons, James Michael, John Thomas, and Joseph Christopher, settled in Ayer, and all 3 sons graduated from Ayer High School. He then dedicated his life to the public service within the town of Ayer in appointed, elected, and volunteer positions. Let me take a breath. It's a long list. So, Jim has served on the 4th of July Committee, the Memorial Garden Committee, the Master Plan Committee, the Aquifer Protection Committee, the Fire Station Reuse Committee, Planning Board, Personnel Board, Joint Board of Selectmen, which covers the Ayer, Shirley, and Harvard, and 4 terms with the Board of Selectmen. And he's currently serving his 3rd term as chairman of the Planning Board. So with that, the Board of Selectmen are hereby announce the 2018 4th of July Parade Grand Marshal, Mr. Jim Fay. We got a certificate for you too. This certificate is awarded to Jim Fay in valuable recognition of being named the 2018 4th of July Parade Grand Marshal. On behalf of the town of Ayer, congratulations. Janice Lee Livingston, Chair, Christopher R. Hillman, Vice Chair, and Scott Hood, Clerk.
It's not like I'm in unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You get to join them. You get to hold that. All right. And then smile pretty.
You have to smile. Congratulations.
Okay.
Well,
Well deserved. Thanks for
thank
everything
you
you
so
do for the
much.
community.
For once in my life, I'm humbled.
We finally did it.
Robert, thank you so much.
Jim,
Thank you all.
Okay. And the fun hasn't stopped.
Just to let you know, I'm ready for this. You recognize me. Now you'll recognize me.
All right, and the fun hasn't stopped, ladies and gentlemen. Judge Robert Gardner, would you please come down?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, this is quite a thing for you. You've retired, right?
I'm looking for a job.
Careful, we might find one for you. So, on behalf of the town of Ayer, the Ayer Board of Selectmen hereby recognizes the Honorable Judge Robert W. Gardner Jr. on his retirement as first Justice of the Clinton District Court. Judge Gardner served as Massachusetts District Court trial judge for the past 16 years. He was appointed as a judge by Massachusetts Governor Jane Swift. Prior to his appointment to the bench, Judge Gardner was a practicing attorney with his law offices in Ayer. He also served as town council for Ayer from 1978 to 1997. But that was a lot of fun.
Enjoyed it immensely.
Judge Gardner has also been very involved in his hometown of Ayer as a member of the Ayer Shirley Lions Club, the Neshoba Valley Chamber of Commerce, a member of the Nashua River Watershed Association, that was a tongue twister, and a member of the executive board of the Nashua Valley Council for Boy Scouts of America. So with that, we would like to formally recognize and award you the certificate of recognition to you for your recent retirement and to wish you all the best. So this certificate is awarded to Judge Robert W. Gardner Jr. in valuable recognition, retiring from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of the Trial Court after 17 years of dedicated services. On behalf of the town of Ayer, Janice Livingston, Chair, Christopher Hillman, Vice Chair, Scott Hood, Clerk.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Bill.
I really should be.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations.
I just want to say a few words. I know it's going to be a hot night and everybody wants to get going, but it's interesting. It reminds me just 40 years ago this very month I was appointed town council. And I held the job for 17 or 18 years, and it was an extraordinary time, and I enjoyed every minute of it, although some minutes probably less than the others. But a lot's changed, obviously cell phones, all the technology and things of that nature. But one thing that hasn't changed is the spirit of cooperation and volunteerism is embodied by Jim Fay and so many of us that volunteered to help the town, just like you all. I know you get paid a small stipend, which is probably about 3 cents an hour.
Is it that much?
It's not worth it. And I'm very honored to be here, not just with Jim Fay, but also with the drama and the chorus club, because I actually graduated from Ayer High School. And I remember the day back in 1965 when I went down to the career seminar, and Carl Black, who's was a graduate of Ayer High School class of 38, talked about law school and becoming a lawyer, and that sort of planted a little seed in the back of my mind to go on to law school. And I greatly appreciate all that he's done. I appreciate all that everybody's done. I'd just like to thank a lot of the people that's here. My sister has been my biggest fan, is here. Allison Migrants, my best friend and soulmate. A couple of my nieces, Sharon and Maureen. Jocelyn's here. Jocelyn just graduated from Ayer High School. She just finished her first year at University of Massachusetts in Amherst at the business school, and she got a 3.999. Another graduate of Ayer High School, Joanna Kowalik, and Alice Langford, and then my dad's best friend has been like a second father to me, Ernie Blazzetti, who also graduated from Ayer High School, and I don't say he has this as a claim to fame, but him and my dad actually saw Babe Ruth play live. It was before the only things they had was newsreels. And he actually was on a ship that was torpedoed in the Atlantic during World War II. Oh, wow. So there's a fellow that's sacrificed a great deal for our country also, is Mr. Fay. All right, thank you all very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Robert will find a job for you.
Yes, congratulations. Thank you.
All right, and with that, I would like to turn things over to Selectman Hood.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to call members of the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Band and Chorus forward for some recognition.
Come on down.
We've got to do skip out of the chairs.
We do. They're not that old, that's the sad part. All right. So the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Band program consists of a concert band, marching band, and jazz band. The program has grown over the past few years. Mr. Ketterer has done a great job in his first year continuing the music program's success. The concert band consists of 53 musicians. The band competed in Massachusetts Instrumental and Choral Conductors Association, also known as MICA, last fall and was awarded a silver medal. The concert band also competed in Music in the Parks competition in New Jersey, winning a Class A first place and Best Overall Band titles. The marching band consists of 26 members. In addition to playing an instrument, this entails learning and moving in marching configurations. The marching band was restarted a few years ago and continues to improve. The chorus consists of 22 singers. The chorus competed in the Massachusetts Instrumental Choral Conductors Association last fall and was awarded a silver medal. The the chorus also competed in Music in the Parks competition in New Jersey, winning the Class A first place and Best Overall Chorus titles. And one thing I will add is my kids are in the band, and one of the feedback that we've gotten from Mr. Ketterer and also his predecessor, Mr. Block, is how wonderfully the community supports the music program at the high school. And I would like to read this certificate of recognition. This certificate is awarded to the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Band and Chorus in valuable recognition of a successful 2017-2018 season, including receiving the first Class A Place Awards, Best Overall Band Award, and Best Overall Chorus Award. On behalf of the Town of Ayer, congratulations. Janice Livingston, Chair, Chris Hillman, Vice Chair, Scott Hood, Clerk. And Mr. Ketterer, would you like to add anything before we
This
do
year's been
full
full of
festivities?
excitement, and I honestly can't wait to see what next year brings. So we set the bar high. I can't wait to see how much higher we can set it as the years go on.
No pressure.
It's all about fun.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Everyone has to hold a little piece of it.
All right, pass it around.
There you go.
Here we go, guys.
You
Everyone hold
Everyone
it in the
touch it.
middle
Oh,
and everyone.
yeah.
Come on, Will. Get in here. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
This is why we're band. This is why we're band kids. We're special.
We're doing this well.
Thank you.
Everybody.
One more. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right. Good job, guys.
Good job.
Of course, most of the kids are going to come back up now.
Yes.
All right, I'd like members of the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Drama Club to come forward, please. Same ones.
Round two.
Double dip.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
We're back again. Long time no see.
So,
It's good to be back.
all right, so I did ask for some information on the drama, and what I received back is a little long, but I think it really does a great job at narrating what the club has accomplished this year. It was a banner year for the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Drama Club, achieving new heights and entering new territories for the group. A well-received fall production, John Cariani's Almost Maine went on to enter the Massachusetts Educational Theater Guild annual theater celebration in March and participated along several other schools throughout the region. For it, 3 drama club members, Carolyn Cooper, Nadia Nalesnik, and Darren Quinty received excellent, and if I butcher names, I apologize, received awards for excellence in acting, as well as the club as a whole receiving a special award for program growth and development. Growth and development this year can be partially attributed to the establishment this past winter of an in-house improvisational comedy troupe, the Quick Wits, incorporating existing drama club members, as well as welcoming back Ayer Shirley Regional High School alumni as participants. This endeavor began with one evening in training with Improv Boston's David Fisher, then a full show for the live audience. During a 2018-19 season, the Quick Wits will return with more fun and 2 full evenings of shows for local audiences. Closing out the drama club season was a thoroughly enjoyable production of the musical You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, taking on iconic characters and well-known comic strips that's very fun and challenging for the actors, but it was also a delightful audience of all ages who remember and love Charles Schultz's work. The first production was entered into METG's Musical Theater Awards competition. 73 schools from across the state were educated, competing against each other for performance, technical, and design awards. From the production, Chris Govang received the Best Supporting Actor nomination for his portrayal of Linus Van Pelt in Charlie Brown. The awards ceremony will be held the evening in June 23rd at Berkeley Performance Center in Boston. By far, the 2017-2018 Drama Club season has been the most recognized in years, garnering more visibility, more activity, and more support in the community. The 2018-2019 season, sponsored by Penard's, will bring Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest in the fall, and the return of the Quick Wits in the winter, and a hilarious musical, Little Shop of Horrors, next spring. All right.
It was a busy year.
Yes, it has been. This certificate is awarded to the Ayer Shirley Regional High School Drama Club in valuable recognition of a successful 2017-2018 season, including receiving the Special Award for Program Growth and Development. Congratulations.
Very quickly, the community has never supported the drama club more than this past year, and we are so thankful, and we really hope it continues. Thanks.
Here we go.
Oh no! Oh god. I'm in the all day.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Join in. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah.
Same picture.
This is so uncomfortable. I'm gonna sit her down.
Yeah, you are.
Don't get stuck behind the chair.
Okay. Do that again. Oh, wait a minute.
That's fine.
Nope, we gotta have this one. Okay. Great job. Thank you.
Okay, you're not one word. Hey, I have to go to Yeah, I walked over here. Yeah, musical right? Yeah, sure. Congrats, good job.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up, and congratulations on all your recognitions.
Bye, Jim. Congratulations.
Take care, Jim. Judge, wonderful meeting you. Thank you.
Take care.
Judge, we'll see you. That was great.
So that was the fun part of our evening. Probably goes downhill from here, but you know. All right. Is there anyone here for public input? Okay.
I have a quick announcement I just want to throw out there. Last meeting we had the boys track team here, and there were 4 boys that were heading off to Greensboro, North Carolina to compete in the, they do the, it's the DMR, the medley relay. And so they raced on Sunday and they placed 15th in the nation.
Oh,
Wow.
very good.
Yeah, at Nationals on Sunday. So
Wow, that's
great
great.
success for those boys. Ethan Matthews, Will Ernst, Edward Ernst, and Trevor, I believe his last name is Price.
Excellent.
So excellent. Good job for those guys, and hopefully it set an inspiration for the track team going forward.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that update. All right. So I understand we're doing an appointment tonight.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the Board of Selectmen, I would, through you, ask Miss Barbara Tierney and Miss Susan Copeland to come up to the table.
I don't think Susan knew she was coming up.
We're full of surprises.
She knew.
Yeah. So members of the Board of Selectmen, I ask Susan to come up for the purposes of tonight, as Susan is our current elected treasurer. And tonight, with your support, we will move to the transition of the government reorg to appointed treasurer tax collector.
So in a way, we get to fire Susan.
No, Susan is going to stay per special act as the town clerk. So, if I may, Madam Chair, it's a pleasure to present to you Miss Barbara Tierney for your consideration of appointment as Ayer's treasurer and tax collector. Ms. Tierney is currently the treasurer tax collector for the town of Townsend. As the board is aware, the town conducted a public hiring process that involved advertising the position in various professional listservs and web pages, as well as the town's social media. The town received originally 10 applicants, a screening committee consisting of myself, Ms. Antonellis, Ms. Copeland, the finance manager, Ms. Cabri, and the assessing administrator, Mr. Hogan, reviewed all 10 of the applications, vetted through those. Of those 10, 5 were selected for interviews by the screening committee. And of the 5 interviewed candidates, Ms. Tierney had the most extensive credentials, specific municipal experience that fit the town's job description, a very impressive interview, and her professional references were impeccable. Additionally, Ms. Tierney demonstrated a proven record of experience and success with tax title collections, something that is a goal of the town moving forward. The treasurer's cash book, payroll management, municipal trust fund management, and the management of municipal borrowing and debt service. Additionally, she has a record and commitment to taking on positions in need of organization and change. She has done a remarkable job in Townsend, where she inherited a situation that she got all in order there. And she spoke to that in her cover letter throughout her professional career, both on the public sector and in the banking and private sector background, of a record of really taking charge in transition and change situations. Finally, in her interview, she indicated that she values excellent customer service. Through her interview, she has demonstrated leadership skills, which are key, as well as a team approach to management. And the committee was very impressed with that interview. As I mentioned, her professional references were impeccable. She has a bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in finance from the University Lowell, UMass Lowell. She is a certified Massachusetts municipal treasurer. She is in process to become a certified Massachusetts municipal tax collector. And it gives me great pleasure to present her to you for any questions you have. And I am recommending her for appointment. If the board chooses, the appointment would be effective Monday, July 30th, as Ms. Tierney has an obligation to Townsend for a 30-day notice, and the position would be at grade 12, step 4, which is $72,182 as the salary, in accordance with the town's classification and compensation system. So thank you for the opportunity to introduce Barbara.
Thank you.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself that maybe he hasn't mentioned?
Sure. Well, I grew up in the town of Shirley, so I'm very familiar with Ayer and Shirley. I'm married. I just celebrated my 23rd anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I have 3 teenage daughters, one that just graduated from the Parker Charter School, and then 2 others who are still in school. But other than that, I think he pretty much covered everything.
Okay, so this is just kind of like a change of pace, going from Townsend to here to Ayer?
Well, I've been watching Ayer for a while. I was excited to see the plans to change to an appointed treasurer collector. and I just love the town of Ayer. And it's also a very good career move for me. The growth potential here is wonderful. The team in place, the reputation is wonderful, and it just was a easy decision.
Well, we're very lucky, and you'll be in good hands with Susan to help guide you.
Yeah.
and
Yes, I'm
everything.
very happy that she'll still be here, and this is all a very pleasant transformation, and very excited.
Okay, all right. Scott?
I will say that, yes, we do have a good team in place, and I trust their judgment that you'll fit in well as a piece of the puzzle, and I have no other questions. I mean, if we went through the screening process, like I said, I trust them, so I think it would be a good fit.
I agree.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you need a motion? I will make a motion to appoint Barbara Tierney to the position of Treasurer Tax Collector effective on July 30th.
Okay. All right. It's so weird doing it with two. Second. I'm always waiting for
not
somebody.
there.
I know. I'm waiting for somebody else's voice. It's not there. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Welcome aboard.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What, no photos? Susan, really? No photos?
No, finance people don't like photos.
I'm a finance person.
Yeah. You like,
All right. You would be so kind as to open the public hearing?
Do we have a public?
That one's in the
It's in the
Yeah,
packet.
it's in the packet, sorry.
Sorry.
It's like page 7.
This whole thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I forgot to prep that portion. The Ayer Board of Selectmen will be conducting a public hearing on Tuesday, June 19th, 2018 at 7:15 p.m. at the Ayer Town Hall, first floor meeting room, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Massachusetts, 01432, regarding the application by National Grid and Verizon, New England number 2561184, to locate poles and wires and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the following public way. West Main Street, National Grid to install 6 JO poles and remove 7 JO poles on West Main Street, beginning at a point approximately 130 feet northeast of the center line of the intersection of Rogers Street and continuing approximately 800 feet in a northeast direction. National Grid removing 7 poles on one side of the street and installing 6 poles on the opposite side of the street. Location approximately as known on the plan attached on the reverse side. Did I read all the name of the applicant and everything?
yes.
All right. Sorry, my first time doing this one. Name of the applicant, National Grid and Verizon New England, number 2561184. Date of the public hearing, Tuesday, June 19th, 2018. Time of the public hearing, 7:15 p.m. Location of the public hearing, first floor meeting room, Ayer Town Hall, 1 Main Street, Ayer, Massachusetts, 01432. Copies of the application are available at the Ayer Board of Selectmen's office Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesdays 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Fridays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay. All right. And do we have a member of Verizon here tonight?
Madam Chair.
Or National Grid, or no, National Grid, right?
Yes.
Well, anyone.
Yes, so Madam Chair, it's my understanding that there is nobody here from National Grid. However, as you'll see in the packet and from the departmental review, this is all part of the necessary infrastructure for the replacement of the West Main Street culvert. All of the departments have reviewed it, specifically the Department of Public Works, Mr. Wetzel, which is in support of this, and I realize that nobody is here from National Grid, but the town administration is in support of it.
Okay. I do note that Charlie had mentioned that he would ask that they remove the old poles within a week, not just disconnect them.
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'm glad you mentioned that. The building commissioner has made that clear to them in the comments that as we do this change, that we're not left with the old poles hanging up there.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right. And is anyone here that has any concerns about this or questions or, yeah? And if I could ask you to state your name?
Sarah White, 109 West Main Street. I'm in a butter, so I got the letter with the... So I went to the meeting about the bridge replacement, and they assured me they'd only be going 8 inches down, so it might not affect my old maple tree or my front garden much. But it turns out they're going to put a telephone pole pretty much right there. I think that's what the little post that's white below and red above might be in my front garden. How disruptive is that? What will happen to my perennials? I just didn't know because I didn't realize they were also going to move the telephone pole.
Right. Is Mark here or anybody can answer that
No.
question? I don't know the answer to that question. I apologize. What we can try to get someone to get the answer and get to you.
We have a contact at National Grid that
Okay.
sends out
Okay.
these. I can talk to him tomorrow
Okay.
and ask him to reach out to you. If you
But I mean, right now the telephone poles are on the other side of the street, and they're pretty much in the center of the sidewalk there.
Right.
I mean, and then the sidewalk stops. So they're going to make it so sidewalk is on both sides, which I'm totally in favor of. It's
Right.
good for the town. I mean, seriously.
No, I understand. You know, this is your lawn. I understand. You know, that's your time and your energy and everything. So I understand the question. Yeah, I'd be
Well-
concerned too.
I was just curious about that. I mean, they sent me a letter about it, but it doesn't sound like there's any opportunity to do anything about it.
Yeah, Robert.
Madam Chair, through you, what we will do is we have your contact information, and as Carly mentioned, we will contact National Grid. We have a direct contact, and we'll make sure that we connect with you, and I understand your concerns about any plantings and so forth you have, and we will make sure that we work with you and them to minimize that impact. So we're not in any way, the board is taking what you say very serious. Let's get all the information. I apologize that someone isn't here from National Grid, but we will connect through my office and make sure we make this as less impact as possible.
Thank you.
Okay? All right, so we will be
All
in
right.
contact.
We could, at just point of order, continue the hearing until we meet even next week for the joint school appointment, and we can get more answers. We don't have to vote tonight, we can always continue the hearing.
I think that's a worthwhile endeavor, since
think
we do have
that's-
someone
yeah.
who has some questions.
Yep. So we're going to continue the hearing next week. The Board of Selectmen is meeting with the school committee for a joint session, and at that time we will continue the public hearing because by then you will have gotten your answer.
Okay, so that will mean I need to attend that meeting next week, Tuesday?
If you have any concerns, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
And we will
thank you.
connect with you prior to that.
Okay, and if you're satisfied, then, you know,
Yeah.
so, okay. So then this public hearing is to be continued. So when that agenda gets posted, it'll be on the agenda. Okay? So we're just recessing the public hearing?
Just
at-
continuing to a time and date certain, which would be June 26th?
Yep.
June 26th
At
at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Here, right?
Yep.
Okay. I just wanna
Do
make
you want to do
sure.
7 o'clock or 7:15?
7:15.
Yeah. So we need a motion for that. Okay. I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to June 26, 7:15 p.m. at a location to be disclosed.
Okay,
Right
seconded.
here.
Right here.
Or,
Okay, all right.
Do you want email?
Seconded. Okay. In favor? Scott?
Aye.
Chair
It's
says
only
aye.
us tonight.
All right, so this public hearing will be continued next week. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for coming in.
Contact tomorrow.
Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, Alan.
How are you, Alan?
Fine? Okay.
Sorry, Alan. I think I dozed for a second.
That's okay. Yes, I can do that. We're before you tonight for what we think is just a procedural matter, just the your vote on the Office of Community. Geez, I'm even doing it. Okay, the Office of Community and Economic Development, our FY18 budget, and the Office of Community and Economic Development has a number of funding sources. One from the general fund. A portion of our funding for our department comes from IDFA funds, and a portion come from UDAG funds. And this is the UDAG portion of our budget, and we're here before you tonight for you to review. If we can answer any questions, and but what is being presented is a budget just showing a 4.5% escalation, and that is simply the step grade and the COLA adjustment. Otherwise, we are level funded this year as we were last year and the year before. We run a lean operation in the Office of Community and Economic Development.
Good.
So, I believe you do have the breakdown in front of you, and I guess we're just seeking to provide any answers or clarification, and to hopefully get a vote in support of this funding.
So you just need a vote of support, or?
No, we need to authorize the funds out of UDAG
Okay.
for it. I don't have any questions, having worked with you over the last year or so on the Finance Committee side, so I know your office does a great job, and I think you guys are doing great deal for the town, so.
Thank you.
No questions on my part.
No questions. All right, so you just want authorization for the UDAG funding based on what you've presented here in the packet, right?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right.
So total dollar amount, is it the 65,695? Make sure I'm giving the right number.
Yes, I believe it'll be under the projection level 3, which is the 30. I'm sorry, we're going down to the bottom. Yes, the total, which is, yes, on that
65,
projection level 3, the 65,695.
Okay, I will make a motion to fund the Office of Economic Development out of UDAG for the amount of $65,695.
Seconded? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
All right. APAC, please come down. Grab a few chairs. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Robert, are you trying to signal me?
No, I
Oh.
was just going to introduce them.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
Madam Chair, members of the board, at the request of the board, the APAC Board of Directors, there are actually 5 seats. There are currently 4 directors. This is Mr. Doug Becker and Mr. Harry Zane. There's also Mr. Bob Coleman and Mr. Dennis McGilligutty, and there is 1 open seat at this point. So the board came, the directors came at the request of the Board of Selectmen, and I had transmitted to them some of the questions and concerns that the Board of Selectmen have. I also met with them last night as well to talk about some future plans for APAC. So I think this is a good opportunity for both entities to meet and discuss plans moving forward, as well as any questions or concerns. And I believe that APAC has presented a very brief video that is about what is APAC.
Video and a PowerPoint.
Video and a
If you want them
PowerPoint.
both.
Okay. So
The video, it's queued up.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, this is part of one of the shows on APAC, which is called 20 Minutes. And
20-minute video?
it's
It's
called 20.
It's like 60 minutes, but not really.
I've actually
So,
seen a couple of episodes.
about APAC, the organization that makes possible this and many other broadcasts over this and other local channels. APAC is not part of town government.
Wait, hold on one second. Cindy, were you saying you can go louder or no?
You want to kind of start it a little bit?
Yeah.
2 words about APAC, the organization that makes possible this and many other broadcasts over this and other local channels. APAC is not part of town government. It is actually a 501c3 nonprofit corporation that administers Comcast local public access funding for the town. It is run by a 5-member board consisting of a chair, currently Bob Coleman, a vice chair, currently Dennis McGillicuddy, a treasurer, currently Doug Becker, and a clerk named Harry Zane, that would be me. At the present time, there is also a vacant seat on the board. Interested parties should contact us. APAC also has employees like the executive administrative assistant to the board, Janet Giamo, Dave Malpignano, our public access manager, Cheryl Robinson, our community liaison and Channel 99 bulletin board host, and finally, our programming and production manager position, which is currently vacant. We also have other part-timers and volunteer members who use our broadcasting studio and equipment resources to create programming. Now about that APAC programming. Ayer residents who are Comcast subscribers can view APAC programs on channels 8, 9, and 99. All of this is funded through a contract negotiated every 10 years between the town of Ayer and Comcast Corporation. There is one thing that very few people understand about the Comcast-Ayer contract. It is that the contract covers television services only. It does not cover internet services, which Comcast provides directly to the customer, not through the cable television contract with the town. And just a reminder, all of APAC's programming and much more is always available on demand at www.ayerpac.org.
So this meeting's coming up. You want to watch that?
No.
So Robert asked us to show that. It was actually part of a show on APAC, and it was put together for the very purpose of making people aware of something a lot of people are not aware of, which is the structure of APAC. It's not part of town government, what kind of an organization it is, and what its mission is. So we also can go in greater depth with the PowerPoint here, which I think is also okay. This is kind of redundant to the presentation, but there is actually legislation that governs what APAC or any public access organization, and there are public access organizations all over the country, is supposed to do. And we have 3 functions that are in the vernacular of the Telecommunications Act is called PEG. PEG means public access. That means members of the community can have access to equipment and training to do their own programming for cablecasting on public access channels. Education is covering the events of the education institutions in the community, and also providing education in terms of television and sorry, I have a little bit of laryngitis, so I have to pardon the water glass here. And also to televise the activities of government meetings and other announcements. This is, we've already kind of covered this in the previous video. We have 3 channels. 8 and 9 are the ones most people would encounter in flipping through the dial. We've designated 8 for government and 9 for education and public access, and we put a bulletin board on channel 99, and more we put our programming on our website. We have had a lot of challenges in recent months. We've had a huge personnel turnover, and we have pretty extensively reorganized the board in terms of our bylaw. We also have changed our focus in that we really I think, personally think we were neglecting the public access part of the PEG. And we've really emphasized in recent months getting more emphasis on public access programming and on membership of people in the public access program. We also have a new studio, which we're hustling to adapt to. It's in the school, as everyone knows. We have been acquiring and learning new systems and peripherals for that system. There are also system upgrades that are probably due. We've been in existence now for 18 years, and some of our systems really need to be replaced, and we are looking at new systems. And there's a challenge to any public access organization in this country, and that is subscriber loss for cable television viewers.
Couple of different.
Right. That's kind of the main reason, but yeah. Oh. What are our goals? Well, we consider our goal to add audio and visual value to the local communication assets that already exist in Ayer, to enhance the quality of content on local channels and on our website, and to enable residents to develop their own content for the town's TV channels. That's the P in PEG. And as I mentioned earlier, we have pretty significantly reorganized the bylaw of the board in several different aspects. We are increasing at the BOS's request live broadcasts. Our camera work at televised meetings is a lot less static than it used to be. We're getting much closer focus with the cameras. We've got a number of new public access programs that have been launched this year. One called Jane's Ayer, which she's done an interview with Dr. Malone at the regional school district. She's also got in production a piece that she did on an opioid symposium earlier this year. There's also, excuse me just a second. There's also a show called 20 Minutes that I've been doing. Some of the features have included a story on the P.N. Lagus family business. Dennis McGillicuddy's done a piece on railroad public safety in Ayer. Alicia Hersey's got a nice little historic piece called Notably Ayer. We have a regular town manager's news update, and something called a Buy Local report that Ed and Penny Kelly do. Lori Sable's also been active in doing programs of recycling and Ayer cleanups. There's also a program done recently on library summer events, and we've focused recently on some of what are really world-class companies in Ayer that most people don't know about. AVS is almost any space shot probably had some AVS products in it. If you've had an endoscopy or any kind of a medical procedure, there's a pretty good chance that something that they used in that procedure was developed at Innovative Medical, which is also in Ayer. Upcoming stories, we've got a profile in the works on a local athlete, Barbara Briggs. We've been posting the congressional candidate forums for Nikki Songas' seat. Dennis McGillicuddy's done a piece on hand woodworking for military veterans. And one of our members has access to extensive, no longer copyrighted public domain films from the 50s and 60s, and also newscasts from those 2 decades that we are going to start airing on the channels as well. We have a new community liaison. Her name is Cheryl Robinson, and her job is to, several aspects to it, but her job is to publicize our upcoming programming and to identify relevant programming from other public television sources and bring that to our channels as well. And she has a customer relations responsibility in addition to that. Our membership drive has been very active. We have free videography and editing workshops. They have been, in the past, they've been bi-weekly. We also last year did a videography class for town managers and employees, and we've increased the number of licenses we have for video editing software. And one of our employees is currently mentoring a high school student on a 4-credit project. We have 11 new members in training taking classes and learning equipment. Those are some of the people. Some of those are employees and some of those are volunteers. There is the problem that a lot of people live in Ayer are unfamiliar with APAC. They don't know which channels we are carried on, and we're continuing to communicate the message. But word of mouth from the BOS would help us as well. One of the questions, these are all addressing questions that were asked, and one of the questions was, how can you help us? And you can encourage awareness of this public access aspect to our charter, that people can come down, they can be trained and learn and use equipment and create their own programs. And of course of all that, you would become a member, and the membership would entitle you to take out equipment and go to classes and produce your programs. You can help us to encourage viewership. We've got a lot more in terms of content on our channels. And of course, we have a website that is increasingly important to our mission. And most of our programming is available on the website. Oh, there's another one, I forgot. Whoops, you can go back. This is sort of part 2 of that question. I don't know what happened to that slide, but in achieving our goals, the question, again to the question is how can you help us? Well, we have a studio, but we often have difficulty gaining access during school hours. And anything we can do, and Robert's been working with us on that particular problem, to help us get more access to the studio during school hours when it's not otherwise being used by the school would be helpful. We'd like you to encourage local organizations and businesses to get involved with us. And sometimes this is kind of the thing that's recently come up, sometimes people shrink from transparency. We say we want to do a story about what they're doing, company or an organization, and they're like, well, that's, and transparency is a good thing, and we'd like people to be encouraged to open their doors to more coverage of what they're doing. Also, if local organizations, local civic organizations participate more in government, those are things that we can cover. I would note that, for example, the issue has come up of the candidates forums that have been done in the past. In Harvard, I think it's illegal. Voters does those. In Groton, the Democratic and Republican clubs get together and do them. And it would be great if we could get some organization here in Ayer to organize one of those forums or something similar to that. And in that regard, if we could reinstitute the Communications Committee or some similar group to organize the candidates forum, that would be beneficial to both of us.
Well, the problem with the candidates forum is that there's usually not any candidates. We've been basically running,
But when there are.
I agree. When there are, it definitely would be nice. Yeah.
That was the feedback
Not
on the
that
last
1 minute
election.
thing, though. That was awful.
I had a lot
The
of
what
questions
thing?
myself whether there was going to be candidates forums, and there was some disappointment that there wasn't. So it's something I think is very beneficial, even if, perhaps even if someone is running unopposed, just give them
Right,
an area to have a voice and
But let's
get a message out.
It's not, we're not the organization that does the candidates forum. We're
understand.
the organization
We're
that
trying to-
records it and puts it on the air.
We're trying to stay apolitical. That requires a political organization.
And when the Communications Committee failed to have a quorum and basically got disbanded, we actually went around and asked Democratic and Republican Club, the library, the parent organization, all of those, if they would take it over, and nothing ever came of
No
that.
takers, huh?
So I think encouraging some organization to take that over, if the town doesn't want to take it over, and I don't see why the town should take it. I think interested citizens should take care of something
Interested
like that.
citizens, the town should not take over candidates'
Well, I agree
forums.
with that.
Because that's, that's not good.
Well,
No,
it used to be done that way, but I agree with you,
Well-
that that's not the best way.
maybe, 50 years ago, that was a good, okay way to do it, but
I'm
it's
not
not
that
a
old.
way.
I'm not that old.
Only joking. But candidates could also, even if there's no candidates forum, could candidates contact you and say, hey, we'd like to
Absolutely.
do a 5-minute video that you could air?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's good to know too, because some might not even realize that, that they could do that. So, I do appreciate you being here. I know that you're on Channel 8, but I personally had forgotten about the Channel 9 and Channel 99, and so that's also given us some information.
Well, the public access is what's on Channel 9,
Right.
and there's a lot there now.
Yeah. We do know that that's been a rough few months. I know that there's some residents that are very upset about what happened at town meeting. Still mystery. I know that there was a sound test, everything was working, and then everything died. But, many people very upset about that. Also because they didn't feel like it got acknowledged and, APAC didn't come out and say, we're sorry, something
Yes, we
went
did. It was
wrong.
on the website.
Okay, well,
And-
again, some people don't know that,
Yeah.
Well,
which presents the
well,
problem
also-
that you're talking
also-
about.
Also, if people are coming to you and saying that, you should send them to the website, because the website has a feedback mechanism that they can, so I can tell you that nobody,
Do we have a link
one
to
person,
APAC's
you know who it
website?
is.
Oh, I know who it is, and I saw his 20 minutes, it was very good.
But other than that person, we didn't get any of that feedback to us directly. We heard it from places, but so. what
And
I'm saying
unfortunately,
is-
that's part of the problem, because people won't do that, because they don't want to directly complain to the people that they want to complain about, they want to do it through the back door.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, what you can do is encourage them, that they can do it anonymously if they want, to go to the website, and there's a way that they can, and we do. I mean, we've had Ernie at our meetings.
Oh, I know, Ernie's talked about it. Yeah. Everybody say hi, Ernie. I think he was going to make popcorn for tonight. I think we can find a way to help, spread the message as far as that, to go to your website, what channels are on. I do have a question, though. Memorial Day, what happened? There was nobody,
they
it's
have-
always been videotaped. It's always been,
Well, we have to be asked. I mean,
Well, we've done Memorial Day in the past without being asked, and that apparently fell through the cracks. We would normally record the parade and play that back, and we know that people do watch it, so we're feeling a little pain because we missed it.
but there was employee turnover, so.
Right.
Without.
That was definitely a case of employee turnover that prevented that from getting on.
So something similar to the communication committee would help avoid these situations going forward?
Well, the
correct?
communication committee isn't really going to help us with the parade.
Well, just, or some
Well, if there
medium
was-
of communication
Yes.
between the
If
two
there
bodies.
was-
So
I
that,
mean, a lot of big towns have like a public information officer. Now, Ayer's probably too small for that, but if there was some function in town of public information that would normally feed us as well as
Well, we
the
do watch
newspapers,
the
that
town
would be
calendar and
useful.
Stuff like that. I mean,
yeah.
so Some things don't make it on it. That, the parade is done by the
True.
the Legion.
right? Doesn't make it on the town calendar, but.
Why doesn't it?
I thought it was. We put it on our website.
Let's put what on the website?
Cindy, right, the Memorial Day information is
Yes.
on the website.
Was it on the website or on the
Oh,
bulletin board?
Was it on the calendar? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because we get the sheet and we
Yeah.
make sure we
Alright.
put it
It was
up.
on your website, yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess, and it was a painful mess, but let's figure out how to move forward in better communication.
But there does need to be some structural link, I think,
Yeah.
to communicate.
I agree with you.
But you'd want that for the newspapers as well, I mean, not just for us.
Robert?
Madam Chair, through you, one of the things, and I had just recently mentioned this to the APAC board because he just came forward to Carly and I just very recently as Chuck Schultz, our facilities director, was here for Memorial Day event, and he came to me and said that he would like to be trained by APAC to understand the equipment and so forth for the purposes not to fill that gap, but in the event that there was something, here, an event or something, that we would have the capacity to at least respond. I mean, not as the norm, but he felt badly about the Memorial Day, and I mentioned to the board that our folks are also willing. Some have taken the class, some are doing some of that. Alan does a weekly video message. Cindy has some expertise in working together that I think if we got some people trained, it may not always work, but if we to sort of address that, because I know, and Doug, I appreciate your sentiment on that. I know that the board and a lot of folks in Ayer on the Memorial Day thing really take it to heart. We're not looking to take people to the woodshed or so forth, but I think that type of spirit coming from like Chuck and others, that we can to work together in that way.
Yeah, we didn't have anything formal, and I think if we had, it would have helped us because almost 20 years ago, I stood down the street with the Cub Scouts and was very upset that we couldn't hear what was being said on the front of Town Hall. So that was one of the things that got me interested in APAC 15 years ago, right? Many years, I set up the audio system outside just so people could hear. They started scrunching people up. I mean, we need to kind of go through that cycle every couple of years. I think just to make sure the communication happens. I know you've been in charge of the parade a couple of times, haven't you?
I've been in charge of it, but I've been a member of it, yeah. So,
okay.
So on the, okay, I'm making a plea for the town to have some sort of a link, but on our side, there's also something being done, which is Cheryl Robinson, and a big part of her job is to be a liaison to the community and find out about these kinds of events and communicate with us. So we're doing that job on our side as well.
okay.
We also do events over at Devon's. We know people over there get our signal. We don't get their revenue, but they get our signal. And we do try and cover things over there. And I'm not talking about, the congressional debate. We'd love to do stuff like that. But there are other things that are local to them that people in Ayer are interested in as well. So we try and get over there and cover that.
Actually, that's an example of the transparency thing that I talked about, and that was we had Dennis was working on doing a story on the autocross that they do up at the airfield, and we thought it was an interesting story, and they suddenly got very paranoid and said, we don't want to do this. This is something that is kind of controversial, and they just kind of backed out of it. And I think that's a mistake on their part. They're doing it. It's a story. People should know about it. And if people are bothered by it, then that's the way. That's life, and they've got to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
Not the people, the autocross people.
It's not my favorite thing to listen to on Sunday morning.
Right.
Well, I think that, basically, we need each other.
Yeah.
Okay, because we want to be transparent, and we need you to help with that transparency. And if you guys aren't able to do it, then we don't look like we're just transparent. So
Well,
I think that we can work together, and I think we can establish something to open a better line of communication. And
Could you elaborate on how we're not able to do it? I mean, we cover hundreds of events
no,
every year. Okay.
No, I wasn't. No.
Well, that was what
No,
you
no,
said.
no. That's not, no, I don't think that's really what I said. I said if you are unable to
Yes.
do an event, then We don't get to be transparent, is what I said. I did not say
Okay.
anything insulting,
Okay.
okay? That's why we need each other.
Offense not taken.
Good.
Okay.
Pass it down there.
Are this copies of your,
Yeah.
okay, that's copies of the,
I mean, there are events that,
that'll be for Chris.
boy, I wish we could get to when we can't pull the right resources together, but we're relying more on volunteers now. I think this restructuring that we're doing is going to make a big difference, where we have an executive director who manages our employees and reports to the board of directors. So our employees won't feel like they're being managed by, 4 separate people. There are a lot of things we're trying to restructure here. We have a great resource in the studio. One of the things that happens is our people are off at night covering events. That basically takes up most of their 40 hour, well, whatever their work week allotment is. And we can't get stuff done during the day. So, some things we go ahead and pay overtime for, but they have to be approved.
Right.
So,
And we also have to rely on volunteers for a lot of it. We can't afford to pay everybody for it. So volunteers are a big part of it, and we've brought in a lot of volunteers, more than we've had in the past. Doug just mentioned something that I kind of didn't really hit that hard on in my presentation, and that is that for a long time we had this structure where it was board management, and it was not the way that we should have done it. And we've now gone out and decided that we have to, as a board, have to have an executive director that manages things. It just was not. We're volunteers, and we're trying to, and board members, some board members doing this, some board members doing that, and all being volunteer. It just wasn't working very well. So that's been a major emphasis, and we're actually in the process, almost completed the process of bringing in a full-time executive director.
yeah, we interviewed
That'll make a big change.
3 really
It's kind of like
strong-
having a town manager.
really strong candidates, 3 really strong candidates. We've got a tough choice to make.
That's good.
It's a good problem to have.
So I would recommend, if you ever feel we're not supporting you appropriately, please prod us, let us know, reach out to us, because we definitely want to make your organization successful. We want to help out with that. If there's anything we can do, just let us know. We'll take your presentation to heart and help you out.
One of the things that really helps us is having somebody like Robert in the position he's in, because he understands. He's done a lot of work with Fitchburg Access, and we modeled ourselves on them. And having somebody that understands the operational model is huge.
Robert has been a lot of help to us.
Yes.
Oh, don't compliment him too much. He gets a big head.
Thank you, Harry.
He already has me bowing and everything. So no, thank you. And no, I think that I think you guys are going to you're getting back on track. You've had a rough road, and you're getting back on track. And
Got some good people too.
yep,
Yep. Good.
yep. And so that website is www.ayerpac.org.
And if I could just share one little vignette of humor here. Ayer PAC. If you look at that name, it looks like it's a PAC, like a political action committee. And it's
You don't want to
kind
know
of
the junk
interesting.
mail we
It's
get.
kind of interesting that we have a lot of Russians visiting the website. Really, I kept looking and said, well, where are all these Russians looking at it? And I find, oh, it's a PAC. They think it's a public access.
Political action.
Political access.
Where did my water go? Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, we get visitors
Hi,
from
Vladimir.
Taiwan and India.
That's why I planted Russian sage.
I don't know why these people would watch our programming, but they're interested. So,
Okay. All right.
Great.
so
Well,
we're
thank you.
half the way through our cable contract now, And in 2 more years, we'll start renegotiating that. And we've got a wish list of stuff. We'd like to move to HD. We hope you would like to move to HD, so we don't have these fuzzy pictures.
I don't know. Sometimes when you zoom in, I'm kind of glad it's a fuzzy picture.
We'll have to get a makeup on.
Carly, about the cable.
Yeah.
Advisory. I know, you're waiting for 2 of us to.
Bob Coleman did,
Oh, he did?
yeah.
Okay.
Good. So tonight, we
Okay, I
can add
will.
you to the
You can add me then.
8:30 item, I suppose.
Okay, you can put me on.
All right.
Okay.
Let's-
All right. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anytime you need to contact us, we're only an email away, or I like the coming here and talking,
If you ever need to talk to us, just ask to be put on the agenda.
Great. Yes, we will.
All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Robert.
So, Madam Chair, before I start, we have the
Oh, I'm sorry.
review of the...
Yeah, you're right. I had my glasses on when I was reading.
Is there a reason why this is back on? Did we change anything?
No, because we had asked for it to be back on this because Mark had said that he had wanted to
that's
look
right.
at it and might have some comments.
have any feedback
So
from
did Mark give us any feedback?
So, through the chair, the only feedback that I got was on question 3. It was just an observation. On question 3, the concern was there's a lot of options there from folks to pick
Okay.
from, and it was just a question from the DPW superintendent. With that many options, would there be obvious that there would be a consensus? In other words, there's a lot to pick from there. I mean, but other than that, there really wasn't any objection and that was just an observation. That was all that I got back from them. And then, as the board mentioned, the question, it's up to the board as far as when you want to launch this and so forth, but...
So I know you and Chris had said that you want to wait until like the fall because of summer vacation. And that's fine if that's what you two want because it's 2-1. I'm just going to tell you though, I kind of disagree with you guys' thinking. And the reason why is because we're assuming that as soon as summer hits, everybody has shut down technology. We have our cell phones with us all the time. We have our pads with us all the time so that we can stay connected. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I just wanted to comment about that. I disagree with the reasoning for it because I don't think that everyone is shutting down all their technology and keeping up with events and checking out things just because summer's hit.
Summertime is a very different time for families. I have 3 kids, and my summertime is completely different than the school year itself. And you get pulled in more directions in the summer. You're also trying to disconnect more during the summer because you're trying to enjoy family time. So there is a lag in the connection of some people during the summer specifically.
Right, and so, but then the decision is based on, families and maybe somebody not, checking their pad for 5 minutes in the morning, even with the family while they're drinking their cup of coffee. It doesn't matter. I don't think it affects anything, but I did want to kind of say that I just disagree with the thinking.
We've done, so I did a couple surveys on the finance committee, and one we opened during the summer, and we had really low results. So that's primarily my caution. I'd like to avoid that again.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
So I think, Chris and I are of the, similar thought where, summer's here, things tend to quiet down. So let's look at it in the fall and put it up for, 4 to 6 weeks in the fall for people to answer.
Did you want to, so since we're not going to be doing it until the fall and everything, that'll give everyone a chance to kind of rethink question 3 as
Yeah, we
to
can do
tweaking
that.
it.
Absolutely, and maybe we can have a conversation with Mark directly about it. I put all those options on there because I just wanted to get a sense for it. Even if, there's also the possibility if there is a consensus on question 3, that may not be feasible when we go to the contract negotiation.
Right.
So, and it's non-binding, but it at least gives us a sense for what people are feeling.
Absolutely.
Or if it's all over the place, it also gives us the sense that there is no consensus and we do the best that we can.
Absolutely. So, all right, so
Okay.
I would say that, we probably wouldn't start the survey until middle September when school starts.
Yeah.
So why don't we bring this back on our first meeting in September to finalize the questions, and then it'll be ready to go.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Excellent.
Okay. All right. Now you can go, Robert.
Yes. Members of the board, good evening. Just a couple of items under the administrative update. The first item, I reviewed, approved, and signed 2 warrants since the BOS last met on June 5th. The first was payroll warrant number 18-24 in the amount of $342,261.26 was reviewed, approved, and signed. And accounts payable warrant 18-23 in the amount of $1,767,388.04 was reviewed, approved, and signed on June 12th. I also, Madam Chair, would just like to, as I know the board is aware, just like to commend the Ayer Fire Department. As the board is aware, there was a fire on Father's Day on Sunday around approximately 2:30 p.m. There was a 5-alarm fire, which is no small event. Fortunately, there were no casualties. There were no serious injuries. In talking with the fire chief, there were no issues with water pressure, hydrants, so forth, and the fire department did an excellent job fighting the fire. It also involved shutting down the commuter rail track for several hours as well because of the location of the property. The police department, DPW, and the building commissioner all to be commended again on that. As was asked by the board, there are some relief efforts about to get underway. We're getting more information on that. I understand that there's a GoFundMe account that has been set up, and they're also going to be looking for specific sizes on clothing and so forth of some of the displaced folks. I apologize, we don't have all of the specifics, but once we do, we will broadcast that here at Town Hall as well as on the social media. But again, never an easy event, but again, a job well done by all of our departments. The first item that I have under my report, and perhaps this could be, I think it should be a periodically standing item, and we may have more things at times than not, is the whole master plan implementation plan discussion. I know we discussed last time the master plan implementation plan. Selectman Livingston had mentioned creating a more detailed schedule for implementation, including actual column, to check off as things are completed, or a status thing, which I think is an excellent idea. I just found out today through Alan and the consultant that worked on this, there's going to be a departmental check-off system for the different tasks, which we will share with the board once we get that up and going. And I think later in the meeting, or under my report, I think we can all agree as far as goals and objectives, that hence why we did the master plan, that implementation plan at least forms a good framework for a lot of our goals and objectives, not everything. So I just put this here just to give an update on that. I also met with all of the department heads. We had a staff meeting last Wednesday, and I've asked all of them to review the implementation plan and to submit a memo from their department for our meeting in July as to, on the high priorities, what their departments can do with respect to that. Also, additionally, their thoughts as to their role of their department with some of these other goals. As I get those, of course, I'll share those with the board as well. So the departments, we are committed, per this Board of Selectmen, to really continue to make progress on the master plan. I know Selectman Livingston and I had met and had discussed some of the things have occurred or are occurring, which is great because it gives you good momentum, and we know other things. We have a lot of work to do. So perhaps it's up to the board. I'm open to suggestions. Perhaps periodically we continue to sort of do a status review also for the public or so forth. So I just put this on tonight just to keep the discussion going, because as the town manager, I'm committed, the department heads, I know that the board is, and I think one of the things that Alan mentioned to me recently too, and the Board of Selectmen support is crucial, is also getting all of our other boards and committees committed as well to certain things. There's a lot of things, planning board, community preservation, the finance committee, and so forth. So I look forward to working on that. So I don't know if there's any other questions or comments from the board.
No, I know I had started a little graph and spreadsheet with all the Board of Selectmen stuff. We talked the other day, and I thought I'd have my bag because I forgot to get to. But there's actually a couple that are practically checked off, which is good.
Yeah.
You know. So, anyways, I'll get that to you, and you can get that. Mary?
Madam Chair, Town Manager just triggered a little something here. In view of how dry it's been, I mean, last night just washed off a couple of layers of pollen, and that's about it. Have we given any thought to more severe water restrictions?
Through the chair to Ms. Spinner's question, yes. In fact, we are going to be sending out through the DPW, through the town, some information on water conservation. And I believe that when the superintendent comes to the next meeting of the Board of Selectmen, not the 26th, but whatever we set for the next meeting, I will speak in more detail about that. But definitely, it's time on the water conservation efforts. So more to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So then the next item that I have is some appointments and reappointments. In terms of appointments, I have one. I'm respectfully recommending the appointment of Miss Colleen Kreiser of Ayer to a 3-year term on the Community Preservation Committee, effective July 1st, 2018 to June 30th of 2021.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Thank you. And then you'll see, as in your packet, and thank you to Carly for putting this together, in terms of reappointments, there is a reappointment to the Council on Aging Board of Directors for a 3-year term. That's Sister Paula McCree. Also on the Cable TV Advisory Committee, and this is that committee that works with the town on renegotiating the contract, Mr. Robert Coleman for 3 years. And if the board doesn't object, I understand that Mr. Harry Zane would like to be reappointed to a 3-year term. It's not here, he just mentioned it tonight.
Okay.
He's currently on it, but he wants to be reappointed. If there's no objection from the board.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
And I just want to mention, thank you, for the public's benefit. As you saw, there are some individuals, as Carly has reached out, that are not seeking reappointment, and just want to thank them for their service. On the Cultural Council, Miss Marilyn McMillan is not seeking to be reappointed. On the Registrars of Voters, Mr. Robert Hammond is not seeking to be reappointed, and Miss Copeland, the Town Clerk, is currently working on, there is a need for 2 Registrars of Voters. And then the Historical Commission, Miss Casey Campetti, is not seeking reappointment. So we just want to thank them. And as we always do, we will then do an updated, through Carly and Cindy on the website and so forth, begin to post what opportunities are available.
Okay.
And can you also make sure the websites for each committee that's had an update, a name change, that
Yes.
the correct
Yep.
names are on it? Thank you.
And then if there is not objection from the board, I'd ask Mr. Johnston to come up to the table for the next item, which is the basic life insurance. As the board recalls, a couple years ago, the current life insurance that the town offered employees was about $2,500, and it was the equivalent of the 1959 rate. That was the last time it had been updated. I believe some of the union leadership told me that you couldn't bury a dog for that. I do appreciate, it was a direct public quote, but I do appreciate the board's support that we had increased that to $5,000, and that was on recommendation of the Insurance Advisory Committee. And I'll have Kevin speak to the details. Tonight, there is a recommendation from the Insurance Advisory Committee, as well as myself and Kevin, to increase it from 5,000 to 10,000, and we believe that 10,000 represents an accurate and fair and appropriate 2018 level. But through the
It's been about 5 years since we raised it, right?
It's been about 5
Yeah.
years, and that was when, and from that, it was 1959. So through the chair, I'll let Kevin speak to the details of the recommendation.
Madam Chairman.
Hi, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good.
So for the board's information, I believe you have a copy of a memo I sent to the town manager in your packets. And as the town manager mentioned, the recommendation is to increase the basic life insurance policy value from $5,000 to $10,000. The effort to do that was we were assisted by our benefits consultant, Mr. Barry Perkins, who sought quotes from our current provider, Boston Mutual, as well as 2 other providers in New England. And one might think that if we're doubling the face value of the insurance, the premium would double, but that actually isn't the case. The increasing the volume of the insurance actually decreases the cost per unit. So we're seeing a slight reduction in the cost per $1,000 of insurance, and that will drive a decrease for our retirees, who will stay at the $5,000 insured level, and the recommendations for our benefits eligible employees to increase to $10,000. The reason for the keeping the $5,000 value with the retirees is all 3 of the people that we solicited quotes from refused to quote for the retiree group. And it's an interesting anomaly where we are right now with that, because of many years of having the school district, the school department as part of the town's budget and separating to the district. Our retirees actually outnumber our active employees right now. So that is the balance that's tipping the scale to have them not bid. There's too much risk. And as we move forward and slowly grow the town government, I say slowly, just I've seen a couple of employees come on board since I started here 4 years ago in new positions. But the fact of the matter is our retirees numbers are beginning to diminish slightly. And as we get more in balance, we may have an opportunity to increase the volume for the retirees, but right now it's not available to us. So any questions that I can answer for you?
No, I don't have any questions. I think it's a fair number and overdue, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
So
All right.
I'll make a motion.
Yes, please.
I will make a motion to increase the basic life insurance offering to active employees from $5,000 to $10,000.
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Oh, wait a minute, Lisa.
Oh, I just have a question. When is that effective? July 1st?
So we'll move forward with an effective date. The initial plan was to have it effective for June 1st. It will likely be July 1st now.
Okay.
And I spoke with Mr. Perkins today, and we'll iron that out in the next couple of days.
Okay. All right, and according to your memo, the FY 2019 budget is able to absorb this additional cost.
It is.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Kevin. The next item is, as we've been discussing, the Board of Selectmen and Town Manager goals and objectives for FY 2019, the year ahead. At the request of the Board, in your packet, I put just together a memo with sort of everybody's thoughts in terms of goals and objectives, and I do apologize if I did miss one. As I mentioned in the memo, also there may be others since we last met, but just sort of to continue sort of that discussion. As we mentioned, I will just quickly, as you see under mine, I have update and completion of the town's personnel system as a result of government reorganization that has to be done this year, the update of the town's American with Disabilities ADA transition plan that has to be done this year, and both will be done within this year. Achieving the goals and objectives set forth by the master plan. And I know some goals are ongoing, as we've discussed, but I think we can really make some significant, and we are, progress on those high priority and medium priority items. The further digitization of all public records in accordance with the public records law. I know the IT department, I know Ms. Antonellis, other departments, we've made significant progress, but we really want to continue to make that progress and take it to the next level. I just want to mention that through a senior work-off employee that Cindy and Charlie have with the new scanner, all of the building records have been digitized, which is amazing. All of the DPW plans have been digitized. So we continue, and because there's a lot involved, as I know the board knows, that we have to do it in consultation with the state as to what can be destroyed, what can't, and to make sure we have all of the records. The completion of the Ayer commuter rail parking project and the access improvement project, I think, is a goal for all of us in this year, as we had Mart here, and moving that forward. The remediation of the PFAS issues, including the ongoing efforts to recoup the remediation costs. Now the town has done its part. It's time for the responsible parties to compensate the town and on that. And then work with all town departments to achieve their respective departmental goals, and a lot of those departmental goals are tied into the master plan implementation. And then I think, as hear from all of you, I think there are excellent goals. I know that Selectman Livingston is a review and the update of the BOS policies, meaning all of them. We're going to talk about significant progress on the BOS policy just momentarily. And as she mentioned, a review and update of all other town policies, and developing a formal review schedule, in most cases every 2 years, just so we're reviewing and updating on that. As she mentioned at the last meeting, and we've talked a little about tonight, further developing that checklist and timelines for achieving the master plan, and periodically reporting that back to the public. One of the things we learned, Selectman Livingston and I, in doing the update and review of the BOS policies, is the development of an official recall bylaw for elected officials for the town. As part of that research, you often hear that we have a recall provision or so forth. The town clerk spent extensive research on that, and there is not an official recall bylaw or provision. And I think that's something that the board, that we should discuss at another point in more detail, and ultimately for a presentation to town meeting. Selectman Hillman, who isn't here tonight due to work commitments, the ongoing cleanup of the town's rail corridor, including the commuter rail platform, completion of the Ayer commuter rail parking and access improvement project, ongoing property enforcement, ongoing town beautification efforts, and the Adopt a Street program, which we did discuss under new business, I think a meeting or two ago. We'll have some information at the next meeting on that, and improvements to the local cable access, television, and public outreach. And then Selectman Hood, review and update of the town's financial policies, budget process improvements and detailed budget process schedule, which we all agree will benefit the town. Review and analysis of town hall operations and organization for efficiencies, and some of that may be ongoing, but I think we can get a good handle in the first year on a lot of those things. And then a development of a 5-year financial plan, an operational plan, and long-term vision. And I know that Selectman Hood on the FinCom, we have talked about that. We've had one in the past, and so again, I think that we have a good framework of goals and objectives for the year ahead.
Can I add, just going back to one of yours, the further digitization of public records? Can we kind of add in something with all these volunteers who are public officials who have mountains and mountains of paper in our homes, some communication on what we can get rid of and how we can free up some storage space in our own homes. I have, I think, 2 or 3 bins full of binders.
So you brought it all in.
No, that was, I brought in Brian Muldoon's. I still have all mine.
Yeah. Yeah, we could.
Brian dumped, I think, was it 7, 8 boxes on me
Yep,
when he left, and I think I have 3 bins of handouts and binders, because we were told at some point that all of our personal notes during meetings are public record and we have to hold on to them. So just something where look into it and give some education to the volunteers.
Sure.
I think that's good. We'll add that to that. Absolutely.
Sounds good. I was exhausted when I read the list. It was kind of nice to see it all laid out and everything. I was like, ooh. So,
It was good. Well, a fun summer.
Yes. And then, lastly, before we get into
the summer schedule.
Yes, as the summer schedule is traditionally the board has sort of set a summer schedule. I've always appreciated that the board has always been willing to meet if we need to meet, whether it's an emergency, a very time-sensitive executive session matter, and so forth. And I really do appreciate that. For example, you'll be meeting briefly next Tuesday for the appointments for the Neshoba Valley Tech School Committee, and also the poll petition. So to frame that discussion, I just put in my memo, and we're open. It's the board schedule of Tuesday, July 17th, and Tuesday, August 14th. So a July meeting in August.
Right. So for Scott's benefit, we try to kind of line it up so that it's like an equal balance.
Yeah.
So the 17th, that's pretty normal for when we're meeting. And then just to throw it out there, August 14th, that's my birthday. So I'm willing to come in on my birthday. I think you can come
I
in.
think we can reschedule if you want to have your birthday off.
They should have a big cake.
Cake, balloons. I still never got my balloons.
Thanks, Mary.
I didn't get balloons. Fire station sold. I got no balloons. So I don't think. Has Chris indicated that he had any issues with those dates?
No.
So, well, the beauty thing is too is that even though these are what we're looking at doing, if something comes up, we readjust.
No, the dates work fine with me right now.
Okay. And then I just had Robert just kind of throw it out there to remind everybody that the first Tuesday of September is the day after Labor Day. And I just want it out there for you and for Chris and for everybody just to kind of, think about it in case there's a conflict. We still, hold on. We still have time if it does become a problem, because there have been a couple times where we have run into a little scenario.
And I know why the clerk's hand is up. We already have.
We have a conflict because it's the primary and there's no.
Oh, we can't meet on September 5th?
We can't
Oh, darn
The day
it.
after Labor Day is
Oh.
Tuesday, September 4th, and it's the primary. So
Until
we
she
can't
put her hand up.
actually, so I already.
Until she put her hand up.
Oh, okay.
I completely escaped.
All right,
so-
then I would recommend that, my recommendation, and this is something that we still have plenty of time to talk about with the whole board, that maybe we at least try to do it that week, like that Wednesday or Thursday. And we can discuss as that gets closer. See, isn't it a good idea that I put it in there? I didn't think it would be for that, to be honest with you, so, okay. So just as a reminder to the public, as always, if the Board of Selectmen needs to meet, we will meet. Otherwise, you won't see us again until July 17th. Or, I'm sorry, after next week, because we have that school meeting, so, all right.
So July 17th at 7, and then August 14th at 7.
Correct.
And we will figure out September.
Yeah,
and
Mary says she's going to bring me balloons.
Okay. And I appreciate the clerk. I completely forgot, but in accordance with the Secretary of State, they don't want any meetings during the election, so.
Right.
Okay.
That makes sense. Okay. All righty.
Madam Chair, thank you. Selectman Hood, thank you.
Okay. All right, so as you saw in your packet, you see the red lines for the Board of Selectmen General Policies and Procedures.
Yeah, I will admit I have not had a chance to read through it because I wanted to be able to take my time reading through it.
Really?
Really.
You got the packet on Friday. I read mine.
Yeah, I also have grad school, so that's kind of a priority. My
Okay.
apologies.
It's only like 8 pages long, but that's all right. Big update is changing town administrator to manager. Under the election and qualification and recall, there is no recall, so we've scratched that off until such time as there is a recall bill. On the role of the Board of Selectmen, mostly it's a cleanup as far as what's the board's responsibility, that the manager is now the town's chief administrative officer, and just some old language that really weren't relevant at all. Obviously, the role of the town administrator had to be changed to the town manager, so that was actually kind of a real replace. Okay, and it's the same with the assistant town manager. So that's all new, and it all has to do with the, we had it written in here, the Massachusetts State Law, Chapter 79 of the Acts of 2018. So basically, because first he put Chapter 79 of the Acts of 2018, and I'm like, what am I looking up if I went to the internet? So it's the Massachusetts State Law, Chapter 79 of the Acts of 2019, and then that would list out all the acts that Massachusetts has passed. Okay?
Right, and it's the actual text of the town meeting article, meaning all of those functions. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, so like I said, having to update some of the roles of the town manager. Most of it is just changing the word administrator to manager.
Yeah.
We did take out we are recommending taking out under 1414 the responsibilities of the chairman, where it said arrange orientation for new members. And of course it talked about the open meeting law. That doesn't happen. And it really would be Robert that we would send, if any new selectman, if they're smart, they're going to go to Robert and they're not going to listen to one of us. Okay? Because he's going to give them the right direction, and we're going to give them, well, we think you should do it this way.
That's why I called Robert after I got elected.
Exactly. Now, big change as far as on 1417, the regular board meetings. We added some language that is recommending. Basically, and this hasn't happened, but again, these policies aren't just for this current board, it's for a future board. In the extreme rare occasion that one member couldn't make it, and say, for example, you were stuck in traffic, and you've contacted say, no, I think we're going to make it. I think I'm going to make it, okay? Meeting starting, we wait the 15 minutes. By then, if you're not there, you're probably not going to make it. So the meeting would automatically be canceled, unless seriously you were like, no, seriously, I'm on the bridge, you know.
Yeah.
But then the meeting is automatically canceled for that night and immediately rescheduled to the following Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay. Except in the rare event that if Robert said, I have a hot action item, I'm going to use a reserve fund transfer as an example, then based on the language we put in there, we could activate the emergency hearing, the emergency board meeting, which would then give us, able to plan it for, I'm getting cold. It's really cold here. I'm bringing a jacket next time. 48 hours, okay? And then we could just come in, do the action item, and then be able to go, okay? So that's a recommended language. Also, on the 1422 of executive session, when we have an executive session that involves town council, that really should be scheduled before an open meeting or a separate night, rather than having town council get here, sit during our meeting, and have to wait, especially if it has to go long, because we're paying them.
Yep.
So this helps to just minimize cost. And then, again, just language update. We added the minimum requirements for appointments is air residency in at least 18 years. Cleaned up a couple of the committees, added a couple, and then just cleaned up some of the language on the relations with town boards, committees, and commissions. don't think there was any red herring in there. It was just, because the paragraph 1, a part of it, it was saying that all the major boards would always meet, and yet we're not meeting like, we would have a meeting with FinCom, but we weren't necessarily having a meeting with the planning board. So we fixed that to just say, as needed, at the request. So we just tweaked that language. And then, just updated for the employee grievances, because there's no personnel board, but you're using the personnel manual. And then updated the town hall smoking policy. You just don't smoke. Just it mentioned 1995. We're like, I think we can go ahead and say, just don't do it. Now, under records retention, that ended up being kind of a major change, because it used to be like retention period for an appointment certificate was 3 years after termination of appointment. So that is all completely deleted, because then it's reworded for as far as based on the new Massachusetts Public Records Law, which we don't necessarily have to have the schedule in there. We would just point to the Massachusetts General Law. Okay.
On 1435, it says the police lieutenant is the police records access officer for the town. Would that now become the deputy police chief?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then, obviously, the inspection of public records, it ends up being just a couple of lines. Those long definitions aren't needed, because it's all on the inspection of all town of Ayer public records are in accordance with Mass General Law, Mass Public Records Law. Okay. So that kind of cleaned up, like, even, the fees for a photocopy, a zoning bylaw map, so that all goes away. And so, again, then my recommendation would be adding the 1838 and the 1839 as far as you're giving a schedule of, like, when the annual public hearings are. That way it's always kind of there for anybody to look at and say, oh, this is when they usually do it, okay? And then coming up with some type of a schedule for the biannual reviews of policies. And so for like liquor license, we kind of put in February. Now, first of all, that, just so you know, visually that would actually be in a box, in a table. I meant to put it in the table, and I didn't get it in the table.
That's
just
fine.
Makes it cleaner looking. I did put in February because we happened to talk about it in February. So we could also, if this is approved, basically be saying, like when as of fiscal year 2019 to kind of get a start, okay? And then maybe come up with a little schedule, or just kind of put it in there, ongoing. For master plan implementation schedule, it would probably be like ongoing, So those are the big updates.
All right.
Which, of course, Chris isn't here, so we wouldn't be able to get his input. So I would ask if you see anything else, send in your questions to Robert and whatnot.
I'll definitely read through it before our next meeting.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping is that maybe for the next meeting on July 17th that we're approving.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would ask is make sure all three of us are here to approve it.
Yes,
So
I
for
wasn't
some
going to
reason,
approve it. I wasn't even going to ask for it to approve
just
tonight.
in case
Thank
someone's
you.
working late again.
Okay. So, all right.
Excellent. Good work. Thank you.
All right. So, the Vicksburg Square discussion. I know Selectman Hillman had put it on, but I think you wanted to discuss it too. Oh, so you're now Hillman? It says Hillman.
Been called worse. So I've been doing a little digging back through my own files over back from 2012. I was on the finance committee at the time, so I thought for this meeting it would be worthwhile just kind of revisiting 2012 and some of the questions that the finance committee at the time had back then may rear its ugly head again this time around. So the original scope on the zoning change for Vicksburg Square back in 2012 was for 246 units across the 4 buildings. 80% of those units were to be low-income housing, and 77 of those units would be senior housing. The estimated population increase at Vicksburg Square was 600 people, was the estimate at the time. And the other piece is there was a provision in the change to the agreement that would remove Supertown meeting, and that was actually the big piece that we were worried about. Mass Development proposed moving a decision of Devon's from Supertown meeting to each town's Board of Selectmen. So it would go to just simply 3 or 5 individuals in each town would be the ones that would make the final vote. The concerns that the committee had at the time was 246 units, which is, we described it as an urban density for housing in a suburban setting. So with that, you have an impact on services would overflow from Devon's to the surrounding towns through mutual aid. Ayer's proximity to the site would increase mutual aid calls for fire, ambulance, and police. The estimate that we had received talking with the chiefs back then was about 154 calls per year. Lack of public transportation to and from Devon's, which I know that there's a shuttle now, so there's some improvement in that since that time. The education contract, which currently sits with Harvard, why would that not be offered to Ayer since we have better access to the site? Concerns about retail businesses flowing into Devon's, possibly enticed by Mass Development due to this development going in and competing with the surrounding towns' retail. There was really not a lot of trust with Mass Development back in 2012. Mass Development did not know back then, and I'm not sure if it does now, how much it spends on operations to provide services to the residents. And this kind of goes to the bigger question of disposition at the end of the program, which is only 2033, so it's 15 years away. So getting an estimate of what the cost would be to provide services to that section of Devon's if we were to ever get it back at the end of 2033. Issues with removing Supertown meeting, and then Chapter 498 was written specifically to ensure Devon's does not compete directly with the contiguous towns, and we want to make sure that that still does not happen in 2018. So the questions for the new proposal are: how many units, what percentage will be low income, what potential impact is there to the town of Ayer's services, will Devon's expand its own police, fire, and ambulance services if they're going to increase their population to this degree? Upgrades to the West Main to Verbeck Gate corridor to accompany the project. And then most importantly is really getting the feedback of our own community before we move forward with any decisions. Make sure we have public input, maybe surveys, whatever we need to do to really get a good feel for what our community feels, because back in 2012, the Board of Selectmen that sat at this table was really 100% for the proposal, and the Finance Committee was dead set against it, and also a lot of people in the community were dead set.
Back then, they were all in agreement on something?
For the most part, I believe.
Right, and the FinCom was not.
Yeah, and there was, there wasn't a lot of due diligence performed by the Board of Selectmen themselves. So that was one of the big concerns regarding removal of Supertown meeting, because you want to make sure that, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, you're following your constituents.
Oh, I'm not in favor of removing Supertown meeting.
So that's my 2 cents on Vicksburg. So I wanted to just kind of rehash the past a little bit and give kind of my concerns, because some of them are the same. I think there would be a significant impact on our services, and I don't want to be paying taxes for ambulance and fire if they're constantly going over to Devon's.
Could you send him your notes, because I wasn't around back then, or
Actually,
you got it?
Yeah, some
thank
copies, but I'll send it to you electronically. So
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that way I can, as I'm kind of getting more involved in it, I can talk to the past. Yes, Robert.
Madam Chair, just on this is very helpful. Since Mass Development, when Mr. Starzyk last came to the Board of Selectmen, since then he did meet with our specific land use department heads, and the purpose of that meeting was to further discuss just conceptually some of the technical components of this potential zoning change and so forth. And they did, from that meeting, it was clear to me that they did hear this board very clearly in the sense that was asked, okay, what does, for lack of a better word, how does Ayer benefit from this? I know that, Selectman Hillman asked about some infrastructure, funding and so forth. I know that Selectman Hood about the concerns about the public outreach in that timeline. And I've continued to stress because, as they said to you all at that meeting, they were looking to the fall, and that may not be enough time. And so from that meeting, again, I reemphasize the initial points, and this is very helpful too from the board. They would like to come back, as I mentioned briefly, at the July meeting, Mr. Starzyk, with some more information, because I think we can all agree that first meeting was basically like, okay, we want to do something about Vicksburg Square, so some more specifics. I mean, I think they also heard one thing loud and clear from this board, and they're not intending to do this, but we have to continue to make sure that's the case, is the percentage of the subsidized last time at 80% was a real, among other issues. So this is helpful. I will ask, because the board's time is valuable, and I said to them, what do they want to specifically discuss or accomplish in July, and get that information to you ahead of time for that, to keep this process moving forward. The other thing, lastly, that I've learned, and I have to get some more specific information, there is a current bill that was submitted by the governor. It has not been taken up on the floor yet, and it's unclear whether it will this session, but it will definitely next session, that is specifically looking at the issue of zoning when it has to do with housing. And we can get more information on this, the zoning about getting rid of the supermajority provision. So as Selectman Hood mentioned, as we all know, it's a super town meeting, and we have to check. There is legislation the governor has submitted. It's not specific to Mass Development Devens, but it did raise my eyebrow in the sense that in some instances looking to go to a simple majority mechanism instead of a supermajority when it has to do with housing. But then I started to think, could it maybe apply? So we will get more information on that. So, but I agree that I did say to Mr. Starzyk that the board is very concerned that to make sure that the residents of Ayer and the businesses, your constituents, are fully informed. And if it needs to be more time to do that, it's going to need to be more time to do that. And it's unclear. They've done the same thing, I understand, with Harvard and Shirley when they first came, but I haven't heard any feedback initially as to how that went. So I'm assuming there's no objection to having them come back on July, but I'll get more specific so we can frame that.
Put them on the agenda.
And this is thank you for this information from before, because this is helpful.
Yeah, I guess the other 800-pound gorilla in the room to talk about is disposition, since 2033 is only 15 years away, and 75% of those buildings do sit in Ayer's historical borders. So I don't know what their plan is. I know that was one of the big pushes that the Finance Committee had, was what's going to happen. That's how we approached our analysis of it. When we talk about the 80% units of low-income housing, there was a lot of analysis of the numbers that they were putting back for economic growth compared to what low-income housing actually, like what you need to qualify for low-income housing. So it was, when you actually kind of look at the low end of the spectrum economically, it was vastly different from the numbers that they were presenting at the time. But I still think going into something like this with a major zoning change, it's something that has to be asked regarding disposition.
Final point through the chair, just real quick. Also, when we met, I emphasized that the issue of the school contract is going to raise itself, because that has not sat well over here as to why it's always awkward. The issue of the sewer contract, though we're almost up on the expiration of that, and through attempts through this board and others to try to get that reopened and renegotiated, which
it's a contract, we all inherited it, but that's what raises itself for consideration. Also, I understand that in Harvard there's been some discussion of looking at this issue of disposition as to what does, from Harvard, so like a formal planning process with a consultant to look at taking back their things. And then the last piece, I understand they're in the process. I've been told informally there's a candidate to replace Mr. Keyser. I don't know who it is yet. But the issue of J-Boss, I think, is also going to present itself.
I was going to say, have we heard anything from the JOS?
Nothing. I mean,
well, Harvard's chairman this year, right?
Harvard is chairman, and I did.
They'll have a meeting.
And they are, one thing, they will have a meeting. One thing I've heard, sort of just heard rumblings of, is this issue of, and not speaking for the board, but I think information is power. Are we interested in a similar thing as to what aspects do we want to retain if we can? So J-Boss is going to present itself. Again, the question is, again, in the interest of everybody's time, and I'm not in any way slamming past J-Boss or what have you, but what's the goal? What's the agenda, the plan?
Having attended two J-Boss meetings and having talked to Gary on the meetings that we didn't attend, nothing.
Right.
They didn't want to let Shirley talk. and Harvard got into a big fight, a personal fight. So nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing got done. So, okay.
This is good.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bring in a jacket. It's too cold. I was always sweating hot over there. It's too cold over here.
I just passed it to Chuck to shut the blower now.
Well, it's about 20 degrees cooler than when we started.
Yeah. All right. So I didn't see anything wrong with the meeting minutes from June 5th of 2018.
Neither did I, so I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the Tuesday, June 5th, 2018 minutes as presented.
Seconded. All in favor? Scott?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Minutes are approved. And Susan and Lisa. All right. You start prepping. I'll be right back. Because I know this one's going to be long.
It's not as bad as Vaughn's.
Thank you.
Actually, in the interest of the open meeting law, we just take a brief recess.
Do you want me to say anything?
So Senegal over Poland. Huh? Senegal.
Kids don't please it.
Just for the public benefit and for the record, the board is just temporary in recess until the quorum is reestablished, which will be momentarily.
No problem.
That's
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what information to pull. Like I went through all the
No, I appreciate
financial
that.
analysis, and I was like, it's so 2012. So
absolutely right.
yeah.
And I will, we'll talk about that, there's this legislation, which maybe makes sense in some situations where zoning changes with housing that benefits housing, getting rid of the supermajority and going to a simple majority. And I'm just thinking, and I could be completely wrong, but we just,
I wonder if the.
Yeah, but Super Town Meeting
Did you
is
start reading it yet?
is in the.
well, we didn't
the
realize
exam.
we didn't have a quorum, so
Oh, just to even start it?
it might be a violation.
Oh, okay.
All right. Through the chair, the board is back in session.
We are back.
Well, maybe I'll just give you a brief
Let me know
explanation.
when I need to read this.
We're doing,
novel.
right now we're doing temporary borrowing ban issue for some of the projects that were authorized at the May 2017 meeting for FY18. So we have to do this because we've already had some spending against this. And if we don't do the temporary borrowing, it'll hit our free cash, so it'll be deficit spending. So specifically, let's highlight a few of them.
we're borrowing about $2 million towards the wastewater treatment program improvements, which we approved the total was $5.7 million. $1.3 million towards the West Main Street Bridge replacement, for which there was $1.2 million approved. This is all based on the departments telling me how much is going to be spent by June 30th or close to thereafter. $900,000 for the DPW Operations Center, $750,000 for the DPW Highway Garage, and $600,000 for the Parks Department storage and maintenance building. So all the overrides, the exclusion overrides. And then there's some other minor, $200,000 or so, DPW, infiltration and flow, and other types of improvements. And then the police radio infrastructure, $207,000. The street sweeper for $217,000, and the cardiac monitor for the ambulance enterprise fund, $32,000. So a total of all right, now I can't read this. $5,953,000. And so the bids went out, and the lowest interest rate was 2.75%. Two actually companies proposed that. One was Jeffries LLC and Oppenheimer and Company. But after the premium was factored in, Jeffries was the lowest bidder, and the net after premium was 1.87%. Very good interest rate. And this is just a 1 year note. We expect additional spending, and I'll let Susan take over from here.
That's really what all you're about to read out is everything's all completed, so
Okay.
Once the vote is taken and all the signatures are done, the courier picks up in the morning, and the money is wired by Friday to the town. So unfortunately, you have to read
the whole thing.
Water,
the whole thing, which is shorter than a bond issue.
Which is this is actually a shorter one. So this is a good warm up.
Well, I've been
I don't
doing
feel
a lot
bad
of
for it because
talking
I've
tonight.
read it at least 3, maybe 4 times.
So unfortunately,
Okay.
fire away.
All right, the clerk of the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Ayer, Massachusetts certified that a meeting of the board held on June 19th, 2018, of which meeting all members of the board were duly notified and at which a quorum was present. The following votes were unanimously passed, of all which appear upon the official record of the board in my custody. Voted to approve the sale of $5,953,000 2.75% general obligation bond anticipation note, aka the notes, of the town dated June 22nd, 2018, and payable on June 21st, 2019, to Jeffries LLC at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $52,325. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated June 1st, 2018, and a final official statement dated June 11th, 2018, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the town treasurer and the Board of Selection be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a significant events disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15, Chapter 2, Section 12, in such form that it may be approved by a bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to review the town's post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and to make such changes, if any, as the treasurer and bond counsel deem necessary to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the notes. Further voted that each member of the Board of Selectmen, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, and other documents as may be determined by them, or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. I further certify that the votes were taken at an open meeting to the public that no vote was taken by secret ballot, that a notice stating the place, time, date, and agenda for the meeting, which agenda included the adoption of the above votes, was filed with the town clerk, and a copy thereof posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours in or on the municipal building, that the office of the town clerk is located, or if applicable, in accordance with an alternative method of notice prescribed or approved by the Attorney General as set forth in 940 CMR 29.032B, at least 48 hours, not including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays, prior to the time of the meeting, remain so posted at the time of the meeting that no deliberations and/or decisions in connection with the sale of the notes were taken in executive session, all in accordance with General Laws, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 to 25, as amended.
Seconded. All in favor? Scott?
I want to read it again.
Yeah, I think you messed up a line. All right.
One.
All right, and the chair says aye. Passed.
Thank you very much.
All right, so anything else? We're going to be signing that. Okay, so the Board of Selectmen is having a joint meeting as it stands right now on June 26, 7 p.m. here for a joint appointment with the school committee, and also a continuation of the public hearing from the National Grid, which will commence at 7:15 on June 26. And then the regular Board of Selectmen meeting will be on July 17th, 7 p.m. And I believe that covers, so.
One quick follow-up question. Chris and I had both requested to have the school committee in to discuss the elementary school presentations. Can we try and get that scheduled maybe over the summer, since we don't have conflicting schedules?
So, yes, so I'm actually meeting with Dr. Malone tomorrow on this issue, and the FinCom would also like to present the same thing. So what I'm thinking, respectfully to the board, maybe we could schedule that for the 17th, depending on the agenda load, or we'll get that scheduled. But Dr. Malone has agreed, obviously, conceptually, that we need to have a meeting to discuss the field and the elementary school and the FinCom. Mr. Diamond just sent me an email. They're interested as well, so we will get that scheduled. Yep.
All right, anything else?
No, that's all I have. I will make a motion to adjourn at 9:13.
Okay, seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.
And